My name is Matt Flanagan. I am the president and CEO of Greater Rochester Habitat for Humanity. So back in '84, Habitat for Humanity International, they were trying to get affiliates started wherever they could. But Millard Fuller, one of the co-founders of Habitat, the most charismatic man on the planet it seems, they always said if you spent 5 minutes with Millard, you were going to go back and start an affiliate in your hometown. So this charismatic figure met another charismatic figure in Roger Cross, and the rest is history. 40 years later, here we are.
It all started with a call that came to go to a meeting and listen to Millard Fuller, to listen to him explain Habitat. Roger was there, and he was running the show, and that was the beginning.
Oh, Roger Cross was just extremely exciting. He was not afraid to ask people for anything, with the expectation that they would put. If you didn't ask them, how would we know whether they'd give it to us? You know.
Some of our older hammer and saw crew, some of them aren't even with us anymore, but they would tell us some stories about Roger. He would just, if somebody had a pickup truck driving down the road, he'd pull them over. Come on, can you help me? And they would do it.
He would ask for building materials. He would ask for money. He would ask for whatever.
One of the first things he did is really think through who are the leaders in the community that can be beneficial. Let's get them on our side and really help people understand what safe, affordable, decent housing in the inner city would do for the community. Some of the first projects Habitat took on in Rochester, then Flower City, they would move houses. And one that I spoke to Harry Biafis, who was the first executive director, and Rich Kemple, who was the first site supervisor. They told me about one of the first homes they moved, that they did all this great work and they built out that foundation, and here they go to move the house. And when they set it on the foundation, I hear that they stood in the basement, looked up and saw some daylight and said, oops, maybe we didn't measure this quite right. How do you muster all that passion of all these volunteers that come through and want to do the right thing, but don't necessarily have the skills required? Eventually, what Roger Cross determined, rightfully, was that we needed a site supervisor. You need a site supervisor who not only has the skills as a contractor, construction manager, but the skills of a teacher.
It was very obvious on my first visit that they really needed help. And what they were doing, they would measure the distance, the length of the floor joist, cut it, nail it in place, and then measure again. And what was happening, it was immediately obvious what was happening, is that the building was getting wider as it went down. And I stopped that. They were good-hearted people, but they didn't know very well what they were doing. It was a teaching gig, really. My job would be to go in and get projects set up and then show them how to do it and then turn them loose and let them do it. It was really fun.
The first volunteers were all like Roger, that they had just retired from their jobs, had plenty of energy, on the whole were well educated, and had their way around town, could get things done. And they're the ones that showed up. It wasn't just a matter of providing money, but that really we could involve the congregation in being present, in helping doing the work, of feeling that they're solving a problem. There was the focus to change the neighborhood.
They started looking at a little bit more concentrated, what we now call neighborhood revitalization. And they said, well, if we build some homes closer together, the homeowners, home buyers will get to know each other, and we'll build up that community.
We also noticed once we there start building, our neighbors start fixing up their house. And actually all the property years are going up, the value of the properties. Not only homeowners, but even renters were making their houses look better. I mean, gardens and even the landlords were fixing up houses, put new roofs on, new siding on. So it really did change the whole complexity of the neighborhood.
How do we help take families who maybe have grown up always in their lifetime in a rental and make them what we now call homeowner ready? We did that because statistically we knew that when a family moves into a home, their children are now on a new trajectory, and their outcomes in education are going to be profoundly different.
Having homeowners in a neighborhood changes the way people think about their neighborhood. The Habitat homeowners were able to help the Josana neighborhood flourish. You know, people take pride in their houses. It's important to have that kind of structure in a neighborhood so people can move on and do better. Because it makes a huge difference when you own something and when your kids see you work so hard to get something, and that changes something in them.
We recently did a merger of 3 affiliates, Flower City, Ontario County, and Wayne County. Looking at housing only by a county boundary seems at best short-sighted and limiting when there are so many wonderful people across county lines that want to lift up the community. If we brought these 3 affiliates together, we would be able to do more work and serve more families going forward. In addition to being creators of new homes, we're also unpacking a new ministry piece, which is critical home repair. How do we shore up the current owner-occupied home? How do we help someone age in place? How do we help somebody who maybe is disabled renovate a bathroom or a kitchen so they can stay in their home longer? Because we know those people, those hard-working people, are also a very important part of the fabric of a community. The great challenge that we still have is how do we take that history, that rich history that is each affiliate, and that passion of those volunteers, and bring them together in a manner that allows us to respect what's come before us, and yet entice us and excite us about what yet can be. Because when we can get our vision on what's best for the community, what I have found, the passion of the volunteers at Habitat, is nothing will stop them. I like where we're at, but I love where we're going.
We thought then, and I still think now, that we could make a difference and we can make people's lives better. It's hard for me not to be emotional about it.
The biggest way that Habitat has changed my life is it gives me hope. It gives me faith in people. I mean, the potential for doing good things is just so apparent in that organization.
We both really believe in the mission. Like it says, everybody deserves a decent place to live. It helps the community, it helps the families, it helps the children, it helps everybody, I believe.
You don't just buy a house from Habitat and then you're done. No, Habitat is your family, literally, as years go on. They were there willing to make my dream come true. I never thought that I would someday be a homeowner. And they helped me fulfill that dream.